When Adil first knocked on the iron gate of the small warehouse at the edge of the city, he had no idea that the old man sweeping the floor inside was actually a millionaire. All he knew was that he had finally gathered enough courage to meet his girlfriend Aisha's father, someone she described as simple, strict, and very hard to impress. Adil had imagined a serious middle-aged man in a proper office. But instead, he walked into a dusty scrap yard where the man in front of him wore worn-out slippers, a faded cap, and clothes that looked older than the machinery around him. The old man lifted his head, narrowed his eyes, and pointed the broom like a stick. "Who are you? What do you want?" Adil swallowed. I'm Adil. I came to meet Aisha. Are you her father?" The old man burst into a loud laugh. "Me? Aisha's father? No, son. I'm just the cleaner here. The owner is inside the office." But the look in his eyes was far too sharp to match his rough appearance. Adil thanked him politely and stood to the side. The old man kept watching him closely, as if studying every small detail. Adil didn't understand why, but he still greeted him respectfully and even helped him lift a heavy metal sheet that had fallen. The old man nodded slowly like he was marking something important. A few minutes later, another worker whispered something to the old man. His posture changed. He straightened up, washed his hands, and said, "Come with me. I'll take you to the owner." Adil followed him through a narrow corridor, but when they entered a neat office, he was stunned. The same old man removed his cap, sat confidently in the boss's chair, and said calmly, "I'm Aisha's father, and I tested you." Adil's eyes widened. "You? But why?" The man leaned back. "I've seen many people in my life, those who give respect only to the rich, and those who look down on people they think are poor. I wanted to see which type you were." Adil was speechless. His respect for the man grew instantly. "You treated me kindly," the father continued, "even when you thought I was an ordinary worker, and you helped me without being asked. Very few people do that." Adil exhaled in relief. "Sir, I truly love Aisha. I would never want to disappoint you." But the father wasn't finished. "Love is easy, son. Living a responsible life is hard." He pointed toward the yard full of machinery. "I built all this with my own hands. I know the value of hard work. As a father, I will only give my daughter to someone who can carry responsibility." Adil straightened his back. "Sir, I may not earn a big salary yet, but I'm an engineer and I'm determined. I don't run away from hard work." This time, the father smiled, slowly, and for the first time. "We'll see," he said. The next day, he called Adil again. But the meeting wasn't in the office. It was right in the scrapyard. "This machine isn't working," he said, pointing at an old hydraulic press. "You're an engineer. Can you fix it?" Adil rolled up his sleeves, sat on the dirty floor, and got to work. It took him almost 2 hours, with sweat running down his neck and small cuts forming on his fingers. The father stood nearby, observing quietly, noting everything. Finally, the machine roared back to life. Adil stood, wiping his hands. "It's done, sir." The father looked at him for a long moment. Then he said, "Aisha chose the right man." Adil froze, stunned. "Son," the father continued, "I built my life from nothing. I worked with scrap, built machines, then built a business. Money can change quickly, but a man's intentions, that shows who he really is. And today you proved yourself." Adil felt his heart warm with relief. That evening, Aisha arrived at the warehouse confused and worried. "Did Dad say anything harsh? He can be—" She stopped when she saw both of them laughing over a cup of tea. "You two?" Her father stood and placed a hand on Adil's shoulder. "I tested him, and your future husband passed." Aisha's face lit up as she hugged her father. "Thank you, Dad." He chuckled. "But there's one condition." Adil tensed. "Yes, sir?" "Never hurt her, and always stand with her through every challenge. Money and status can change, but your character must not." Adil nodded. "I promise." Aisha took his hand and smiled. A few days later, the father arranged a small family dinner. This time, he wasn't pretending. He arrived in his luxury car, wearing a crisp suit, with guards opening the door. But when he met Adil, he welcomed him warmly, like family. "Adil," he said, "the day at the scrapyard, you respected me even when you thought I was a poor man. Today, I respect you." Adil lowered his gaze humbly. "Sir, your test taught me a lesson." The father nodded. "And you understood it. That's what matters most." The families sat together that night, sharing stories, laughter, and the beginning of a new chapter, one built on honesty, trust, and the belief that a person's real worth is shown not by wealth, but by how they treat people when they think no one is looking.